Dude, it comes with 4 figures. It has rocket launchers on the side. Man, it shoots out a Cobra light. Yeah, man. They're probably coming at the end of the month. I don't know when they're coming. I've been waiting about 1.5 years for them. Yeah, I ordered 3 of them. Where am I gonna put them? That's a good question. Alright, for all of you guys that are waiting those Hiss tanks, and they're gonna come any week now, hopefully, and you don't have the room, I know your wife, your friends, hell, even your kids probably giving you hell. Where are you gonna put these things? Where are you gonna put these things? Don't worry guys, I got you covered. Just watch this video, and at the end, you'll see a nice, simple diorama that you can do yourself. Today we're going to do something a little different. With the arrival of the Hiss tanks coming in soon from Haslab, I need to have room. I already have too much stuff, and I don't want to have to relocate everything. So today we're going to build a simple platform diorama to go with what I have. You too can also follow these steps and learn the process to make a simple diorama, make your figures look great. These also can be used for army building situations where you need to set a lot of troopers in front of a certain diorama that you may already have. Comes in handy, and I think it's a real great idea to work out for you guys well. You know, you got to have those Hiss tanks on something. So without further ado, let's break out some styrofoam I have over here, and we're going to get to cutting. Before I start, I highly recommend that you do not cut the foam with a very sharp knife like I do. I'm a trained professional, been skilled for years. I fillet everything from fish to deer, so I'm very handy with a knife. So again, I don't recommend following the procedures that I do. Cut the foam as safe as you can with the best way that you know how. They have melting devices and special saws that are used for this. I'm just very sufficient with a knife, and it's a lot faster for me to do this process, but please do not attempt this at home. Thanks. So on my initial setup, I get some staging ready. The black table that I'm unfolding is a table I got from a home, and I got it for free. This is actually what the dio is going to sit on. Right now, I'm just cutting down the natural seam in the foam so I can get a manageable piece. Set that one aside and use it later. And since this is going to be a rock formation, right now I'm just cutting some random curves, shapes, and edges around all the dio. I'm going to leave the back half of this dio straight so I can push it up against certain dioramas that I've already built. But if you were to make this and it was going to be, say, in the center of a room like my Terradrome diorama, you can more than welcome to cut all edges. And here you can see I'm notching, shaping. I'm just shaving little edges off as I go, just doing random cuts. I didn't even draw anything out or nothing like that. So the best part about doing rock formation dioramas is they're very forgiving. Very hard to mess up. You can see I'm using the secondary piece to get a secondary level. This insulation foam you can buy from Home Depot or Lowe's, any hardware store, and they use it to put on the sides of homes for insulation. So it's relatively easy to shape, easy to get, and it's about 1.5 inches thick on this particular size. So right here, I'm taking the random cuts that I accumulated over the cutting and all that, and what I'm doing is gluing them together with just painter's caulk, and I'll also use some 3-inch screws. I'll put 2 in each piece just to hold it to the adjoining piece. Again, these are just random pieces that were on the floor that I cut off of the dio. And I'm using these to make like smaller rock formations so I can dress up the diorama later with it. And I'm utilizing every piece in this instance. And right here I'm screwing more rocks together, and I'll wipe edges along the lines just to make it seamless a little bit. And then from there, I'm reshaping and doing my final tuning on making all the rock look like rock. Right there, I'm screwing down and applying the second level, and I'll apply a caulk line to all the gaps and all the screw holes. I'm finishing up the rocks and shaping them right here. I'm actually cutting off little pieces of foam and getting them to more of a rock shape. Everybody loves this part, painting. Here we go. Now, when you do this process, I recommend that you do it twice. As you see, I painted my rocks and I just set them over there because it's a rock dio. It's not going to hurt if I set painted stuff on paint. And I'm doing a second coat. So there's everything in gray. And here I am out on this beautiful sunroom. I decided to move it over the next day and work out here with all the shading. And with the black, you just want to get it in all the cracks and gaps. And it's really at your own discretion at this point. I mean, you can apply as much as you want to do, go as depth as much as you want. You can brush in some highlights later on. It's really up to you, and you can let your imagination run wild with all the painting and detail that you could actually put into it. But for this project, I did very minimum just to show you guys what basic black and gray and a light gray would do. It took very little effort to make these darker highlights, and it really enhances the depth for the pictures and the army troops that you want to set up and whatnot. Really gives it a good amount of depth there. Here I'm just brushing in the rocks, putting the black in all the cracks and gaps. And then I do like a dry brush effect on all the flat surface until I'm happy with it. I did add some additional black spots. I added more black in after this shot, but here's a close-up, kind of show you what it was going for. And the black just really brings out all the nooks, gaps, and cracks that I have everywhere carved in there. And like I said, if you were to go into further detail, you know, with your painting and whatnot, you could get really, really immaculate on it. But this is good enough for what I'm doing. And I like my stuff to look pretty much cartoony when I'm done with it. And then here's the final staged product. Now, I did not put classified toys on here. I used the vintage because I am waiting for my Hiss tanks to come in. But with the amount of vintage toys that I have on this dio, you can see that I can easily fit a Hiss tank and a bunch of soldiers of any assortment. Now, the best part about this diorama is I can push this right up to my Thundercat dio and put my Thunder tank right on it, and everything will still blend. All those rocks and everything that I made in the background there, I can move them to any position I like. I can add some green moss to the effect, anything I want. It's really versatile, and all this is a 4 foot by 2.5 foot piece of styrofoam that I can easily just pick up, put the rocks in the box, and fold up the folding table that I got for free. So all in all, I probably have about $40 in the dio, and I probably spent maybe an hour's worth of time total between cutting it, painting it, and whatnot. It's a real easy project, and it'll give you a platform, a base to set your toys on. So it's really handy, and I hope to see you guys do some projects like these. And you know, maybe you can comment in the comments later on and let me know how your project came out. Anyways, guys, if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. Please ring the bell for notification for future dios, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks, everyone.